boots. Now it's all tailored suits. Audemars Piguet for my criminal recruits. Champagne flutes, bumping rhythm in the blues. Partner made bad moves. He might end up in the news or end up in the tombs or living in the boondocks, riding by the rules. I abide by it soon. See the situation, we sophisticated goons. Know you live by the gun, then you die by it too.
This is From the Ground Up, where we talk to entrepreneurs in all different industries and give you the down and dirty about what makes them successful. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and check back every Monday as we drop new episodes.
We live.
Woo!
We live.
We back,
We
baby.
back. We back. Oh my goodness, it has been 2 months. We just needed a little reset or
Just
vacation.
a break,
Little breather.
Yeah.
But we are back with Mr. Benjamin Woodley, episode 82, from flipping boards to flipping houses. AKA
can't believe
Mr. Real Estates.
It's been this long. We should have had you on a long time ago.
Shoulda.
I know, but we were like, we're going to reset. We're going to come back. Who's our first guest? We're like, fucking Ben.
It's all right, we're back.
Woodley.
Raise
some
We
rules.
back.
We are
We
here.
back. We
Let's
back.
get it.
Yeah,
Get it.
no. So why? Okay, so you and Sarah were just talking before we go live, and I was like, dude, keep it to your fucking selves. Keep
jib-jabs.
it to this jib jab. But you said you've been asked to be on podcasts before, and you said no.
I have said no to multiple podcasts throughout the years.
Waiting
Why?
for the right one.
I don't know. I'm a little elusive, I guess.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You guys see my content. I don't really talk a lot. And when I do, it's generally some motivational crap.
Yeah,
Which
like
is
the no
always good.
alcohol thing the other day. I actually
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
that whole thing.
Because you
Good
go,
for
fuck alcohol. Because it's straight poison. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand, right?
Yeah, but it's so fun.
I know. I get it.
Okay, so I didn't watch that because I know that you were a partier and then you were sober for quite some time, and then you like kind of picked up on the drinking again. Are you sober again?
Yeah, I'm sober again.
Let's go.
Wait, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it feels good to feel good.
It's
I get
true.
that.
I mean, that's a pretty
is true.
easy reason right there.
It is
I
true.
get that.
I mean, as far as like alcohol goes, like I'm so bad at drinking, like I'll go 0 to exactly to where it was. So I got like 0 to just like 10 beers, and all of a sudden I gained 20 pounds in 3 months. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop.
Was it really? You gained 20 pounds in 3 months from
Yeah.
just drinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
It's
how to
insane.
do it without like eating like crap either.
This
you
is
know?
true.
It's-
I feel like, yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm not going to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I
go.
mean you're good. I mean, as far as this goes, like I can give you a little like background on that. So like I quit drinking for 5 years because I got gout, which essentially
hell?
like messes with your joints and like it was hard to walk. So
Oh, right.
I'd rather not drink and then walk. So then essentially like I started getting in shape and I started skateboarding again. And I started taking it to another level. And obviously, when I got into real estate, I essentially latched onto skateboarding as a way to promote my business.
Yeah.
So not drinking, being able to like have a clear mind, you know, be able to do things and like the next day not like be like, oh, I feel like crap, I don't want to do anything. And then, oh, I hurt from skateboarding too. So it's like all these things that combine. So I was sober for 5 years, and then the pandemic happened, and then you hear Corona 500,000 times. You're like, you know what? We're trapped in our house. Maybe I can go get some Corona.
I fucking love it. I feel like we need to give Ben a proper intro. So
Yes,
Benjamin
yes.
Woodley-Rifen is a real estate with Guide Real Estate. You've been in the business for
5 years.
5 years. I was going to
Yep.
say 2020. He was one of the first agents that we met when Shay and I teamed up 4 years
this
ago.
is before we teamed up.
No, because Corey.
No, girl.
Oh, yeah, you're
no,
right.
girl. I was at Synergy One
That's
Lending.
right.
This was one of my first deals on
That's
my own.
right.
This was one of your first deals on his home and like on your own. And what
Yep.
happened was there's another Benjamin Woodley
Yep,
agent.
there was.
Yeah. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. Unfortunately, he
thought he got out
he
of
passed
business.
away.
Okay.
But so whenever I go under contract with somebody, I Google the agent, and that's who I thought it was, and he had been around forever or whatever. And I called you. And you were so confident. I think this is the thing that I love about Ben the most, is you were so confident, and you're just like, psh, honestly, like, I don't know who you are as a lender. Like, I don't know what you can do, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, kind of like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty fucking gangster, too. And so we kind of went head to head. But then we murdered the deal together, and it was not an easy deal. This was
Nope.
for our buddy.
Yeah, for James. Shout out James.
Yes. Hey, what's up, James? Yes. And it was not the easiest deal. And he and I literally worked together so freaking hard. And then it was literally at closing I found out that this was this bin.
A different one.
And it was like one of my first deals and one of his first deals. And we're like, oh, like we're pretty gangster together. But
Yeah.
a lot of people know you too as not just being a real estate agent. Obviously, you're a skateboarder.
Yep.
And you have like almost 55,000 followers
Something like that.
on Instagram. And then
A bunch on TikTok. and all
bunch of
over.
freaking TikToks, and you post every single day.
Yep.
But that's why you
like,
fucking kill it.
That's why I love you, because you have such genius marketing, and it's so is it niche or niche, whatever, but it works so well
Yep.
for you. But I have a question. Did you really start getting into social media once you got into real estate?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
So like prior to real estate, I was in telecommunications and sales for like 14 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I sound
Same,
so
bro.
confident. You're like, man, this guy knows what the hell he's doing. When in reality, I was like my second deal. maybe my third. But as far as like that goes, just having the confidence, because I used to work B for B, which is business for business. Pretty much I worked in sales, talking to business owners for, I don't know, better half of a decade. And it got to a point where I'm like, all right, a lot of you business owners are dummies. I could do this. So then I got into real estate because I sold a couple houses and bought a couple houses personally. And I was like, okay, I don't necessarily like my realtors. I feel like I could do a better deal. So when I got into it, started working and then started going skateboarding and all that. So
Is that just what caught on? Like, how many followers did you have? Like maybe 1,000 at the
1,000.
time?
Yeah. So like everybody told me, and I had this conversation with this lady that does marketing and everything. She knew me from when I used to do music and used to do hip hop. And she'd be like, yo, you used to market yourself all the time. You got to do that for your business. And basically, when I was in telecommunications, I hid from everybody. I didn't post on social media like ever because I don't want my coworkers to know my personal life. I don't know if you guys
Right.
understand that.
Yeah.
You know that. I know you guys outside of here. Not everybody needs to know your business. But
I get it.
once
I get it.
once I made the transition into being like, okay, now I have to be this content creator guy that does everything, then I kind of like, formulated a plan to really just go on brand. So everything that I do is essentially just like, what positive stuff can I put out to the world? And essentially, what can I do that's going to associate me with my skateboard? Because I've been skateboarding for 28 years. And when I was in telecommunications and just like sitting at a desk in a cubicle for 8 hours a day, all I would do is just daydream, look out the window and be like, man, I wish I could skate. And now I give myself an opportunity to do that. But I'll tell you this, pushing 40 years old, it hurts.
You're slowing down a little bit. And I was like, oh, I can see in that last video. But good for you, though, because a lot of people don't know how to take their hobbies or their passions and turn it like into marketing for business. Like you'll
Right.
see some like rescue dog people and doing business that way, but you really like grasped it and took the skateboard community, which I think was smart because it's kind of an underrated community in the real estate business, right? Not a lot of skateboarders.
You don't
Think
just
they
you
can
just
buy a
don't
house?
associate.
Yeah.
You don't associate.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody looks at skateboarders like they're degenerates.
Yeah,
They're
little,
all
like,
stoners.
grunge-
They don't know.
grunge
They don't know what the heck
muffins.
they're doing. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that if you look at a lot of people, especially now that we're growing up, if I say skateboarding to a lot of older people, they're like, "Oh, I used to skate." It's become such a generational thing at this
Yeah.
point that a lot of people latch onto it like, man, you're doing what I used to love to do. So then I get people that, get back into skating that are, 40, 50, in their 30s, whatever. And then they're like, man, I've had so much fun. And then I'll talk to them a week later like, oh, I broke my ankle.
Yeah.
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 Like, oh, I'm so sorry.
And let's talk about getting older and pushing 40s. So your most viral video.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know how many views you got, but you broke your back.
Uh-huh.
You broke your freaking. Oh, I wish we could put it up here. Damn it, we should've.
I can cut it into it when I edit it.
We're gonna cut it in here.
Yeah.
So this man,
see.
he always starts his real estate videos. So he says something, right? And then he has somebody like follow him with the camera on another skateboard. And he had just gotten started. And just tell us what happened.
Man, I don't know. You know me. It's a little slogan, slide into my DMs. That's just if anybody doesn't know this, that's just an easy way to contact me. I don't want to throw out phone numbers because I'm like, I told you, I'm elusive. I don't want to sit on the phone all day.
Yeah.
Just DM me.
Yeah.
I'll talk. If we want a phone call, we can get it. So I said, slide into my DMs, and I went up for a board slide, and then I died.
Oh, did it
And
look
you,
so painful?
like, I have never heard a man scream like that
yeah.
in so much pain.
Oh, yeah.
Did you, I mean, obviously you were not paralyzed, thank the Lord, but you broke your back and you were down and out for a while. Did you get up and walk away? Because the video cuts.
Yeah. So
After that.
I always tell everybody, I'm like, you got to keep recording.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm hurting. You got to keep recording. But you cut it
Content's
off.
content.
But it is what it is. You got the scream out of there. I sat there for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. I thought I punctured my lung. I actually didn't know I broke my back. So I ended up going home. I didn't even
You
go to
drove?
Yeah, I drove home. And I text my wife the video, and she just sat at work like cleaning and just doing like all these little side projects for hours. And then she finally saw it, and then she called me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, this is the first time in 12 years that I have to go to the ER." So like, I avoid the hospital like nobody's business.
Who doesn't?
Just
Yeah.
like most skaters, you know, I don't want to go. But
Yeah.
we went there. Basically, we checked out at the end of the day. By the time I was there, I was already in a wheelchair. Like, I couldn't walk. And they're just like, "Oh, you fractured your spine. Have a good day."
Insane.
I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I didn't really walk or was very mobile for like 3 months.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So then I spent my life dedicated to coming back and getting better at skating. And then a calendar year later, I put me eating shit onto my skateboard, a picture of it, just to make some content that was cool that just goes from a transition of me dying into me, you know.
Yeah.
You
Being
doing it
resurrected.
again. Yeah.
I love it. But you're such an outside of the in terms of the content and the stuff that you do put out there, it's out of the box, right? Like, do
Yeah.
you come up with that on your own, or
Oh,
do
yeah.
you like, hey, ChatGPT, can you help me?
ChatGPT wasn't around when
one
I
of
was
the
doing
first
all this.
videos that we did with you, we're like, oh, let's have a content day, and we all didn't know what we were gonna do, but he's like, I'm coming to your office, we'll figure it out. And he literally like kick flips on our conference board.
in like DTC, it
Yeah.
was like a nice little like area, and then Ben gets on there, and he's
But
skating on the desk.
how many takes did that take to like kick flip on a conference table? And we're like, we're gonna get fired the first week that we're here.
Yeah,
or
those-
lose
those-
my freaking teeth.
Yeah, those skate marks are probably still on that table.
Probably, freaking probably. But I want to know like how you caught on like wildfire so quickly, because I mean, obviously, there's not really another skateboarder that does real estate or like you do, but like how did you get so many followers so quickly? Because you have so many followers on Instagram and you have so many followers. How many followers do you have on TikTok? I don't even know.
I don't know, probably like 30,000 or something.
Yeah, so like altogether you have like 80, 85,000, 90,000
Yeah.
followers. How do you do
I post
that?
all the time,
True.
but I also post a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily see from anybody else.
Yeah, that's
You
why
know
I
what-
love it.
you know what I'm
It's
saying?
unique. Yeah.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, this is what I'm doing in my everyday life anyways. I'm essentially just skating and say buy a house.
Yeah. I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
It's
think
true.
I don't know if it translates the way that I want it to or not. Like I barely ever show houses. I'm sure you guys have seen that, but I'm not like the normal realtor. Like check out this new crib.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'm more like, hey, look, I could trade flip. You want to buy a house?
Yeah. Or we're at the closing table and you rap. So if people don't know,
I missed that.
Benjamin is also a rapper. Like not even a shitty one. Like he's actually a very good fucking rapper. And on some of your TikToks, you've had Atmosphere. If y'all don't know Atmosphere, Rhyme Sayers Entertainment, there's Slug.
Shout out Slug.
Yeah, dude, everybody. And so he's a skater too, right?
He's not a skater.
No, but he met you at the skate park, or how did that happen?
And I say that loosely because he's like, man, I don't do this. I'm like, but you're so big in the skate culture.
Dude.
But I mean, as far as that goes, he pretty much just complimented my hat while he was out there, and I was like, oh wow, you're like the most influential person in my life.
Yeah, and he's sick, and you're a sick freaking rapper. So whenever we would go to closings, Ben always typically gifts somebody, if they're a skater, he gifts them a skateboard with something dope on the back. Like one time it was Halloween, and you had like a Halloween thing printed on your board, and then you have your broken back
Oh yeah.
board that you give to people, and so that's really dope. And then typically at the closing table, we all have to freestyle.
You're really good at it. I freeze.
I've gotten like one good freestyle in once before, but Ben and he will never double take. Like he's not fake at all with any of his videos. He's like, the only time you ever double take is if you fuck up that thing right there, then you'll do it again. Yeah. But then he's like, okay, we're just free flowing, ready, set, go. And then we go, and it's like me, him, you, and the
Quiet.
fire. And they're like, what the fuck? But it works.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why people love you.
You
Okay.
gotta be authentic about it. I mean, guess what? We're all gonna mess up. It's not always gonna be polished the first take. But guess what? It's authentic, and isn't that what everybody always shoots for?
Yeah, authenticity.
You gotta get the most authentic take ever, and essentially, it's just you're just gonna look awkward.
Yeah.
There's some moments
But
I'm
that's
like,
the
please
fun of
don't
it.
post that. That was awful. And then he's like, nope, send it.
Oh, I'm actually gonna repost it.
Yeah. But you do repost some things a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
But you had one of the most genius things I've ever seen in marketing. And I'm gonna make this the intro of the link once it's up on YouTube. But like he made his own bench, like a bench that you would see with like a sign on it. But the way that you shot it was just
Oh yeah. It took like 6 months
it blew
to.
my mind. Like I was like, that was the coolest. I think I watched it like 4 or 5 times. I was like,
Yeah.
that was actually really dope.
I mean, that took like 6 months to figure out exactly the logistics about it, but essentially, like creating a bus bench, creating a fingerboard bus bench, creating a skateboard, creating a fingerboard. It's the same as a skateboard, going transitions in between. And then, you know how awkward it is to be moving a bus bench all through downtown?
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought it was
sure.
real. I thought it was real, but it was
No, he
man-made and they like
moves
moved
it.
it in his truck.
I had somebody engineer it to be able to be skated and taken apart very easily and moved. I hired somebody to.
And these are your own ideas. Like this
Oh,
is
yeah.
the shit that you come up with on your own. So
Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
a realtor, you're a skateboarder, you're a content creator. It's like, but that's what we have to be now. Like in real
Yep.
estate, we're like, well, we're just content creators now.
That's it.
Like what the fuck? Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. I want to go back to you as a human being. Let's just start from the beginning, dog. Where were you born?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
So did you know Atmosphere growing up or
Oh
no?
yeah. I didn't
Like
know
as a
him
human?
personally. No. Okay. I've seen Atmosphere like 30 times prior.
Because
So-
he's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Not like I'm a fan or anything.
Yeah. I mean, again, like as far as like Atmospheres goes, in the hip hop white kid community, I guess, you know, he's like the pinnacle. You know, especially from being from small town Minnesota, that was a pretty big deal for me. But outside of that, I've seen him like I don't even know at Lollapalooza,
Red Rocks.
you know, Red Rocks, like all over. And as far as like all that goes, it just ties to my hip hop roots because like I started listening to him when I was like 14 skateboarding, and I met him on a I got introduced to his music when I was 14 on a skate trip. This guy was like, "Oh, I work with this dude. You should check him out." I was like, "Oh, this is awesome. What is this?"
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then you know,
Things
years
just-
go on, and here we are.
So then what kind of, okay, so growing up, you grew up in Minnesota. You said you were always kind of into hip hop and skateboarding. Like, when did you actually start to kind of like rap?
14.
14.
Yeah. It's pretty much like I heard that and I was like, man, what is this captivating music? And then I started rapping and I started getting serious about it. I think I played my first show at like 16, and that was with Booty Brown from The Far Side.
But, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So like, and I was talking to like a local promoter. I was like, yo, can you get me on a show? He's like, yeah, you can play with The Far Side. I was like, wait, I meant like a local show, not like a bigger show.
Yeah.
So, you know, I choked on stage while, you know, I rapped.
You pulled
but,
an
like,
Eminem,
well,
an 8 Mile?
I didn't choke like that hard. I was just like maybe not as confident as I could have been. But you got to start somewhere. I mean, along with all of this, even with content creation, if you look at the early videos, they all suck. You know this game.
Yeah.
How did
Our
it-
first videos were trash.
Oh, trash. How does it come to you? Like, that's what I've always wondered with like rapping, because I could barely talk sometimes as it is, you know that. But like, how do you know, like, I don't know if you've ever rap battled, but like you see something, you're sitting at a table and like at closing, you'll just put the whole closing together just like that. And rhymes and it sounds good. Like, how the fuck does your brain work like that?
I mean, it's just like anything else. I've done it for so many years. When I was a kid, like that's all I ever used to do. I used to be a battle rapper. That's why I'm kind of the, just like talking.
Son of a
But that's why I think
Yeah.
it works for you. Like your wordplay is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and the whole like slide into mind, like that's your hook, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you understand like that's not the science behind it, but like your wordplay is really good even in your videos.
Ours aren't. I feel like every time we start our videos, we're like, hey guys, Shay and Sarah, the SNS Mortgage Team. And everybody's like, we know who the fuck you are.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You two actually do very well, like bouncing off of each other.
That was fucked
All right.
up.
Do you guys not know this? You gotta look at the elbow.
The elbows.
You gotta look at the elbows. Oh, I was watching a funny video of us the other night.
That's how you do it. But I mean, we made a lot of content throughout the year. I mean, we've been making content for what, like 4 years, like something like that, maybe even closer to 5.
Yeah.
But as far as like the content and everything, y'all just like know when to pause and let the other one go. That's not a very easy thing to do, and y'all just do it right off the bat, anyways. So give yourself some more props.
Because we're married.
man.
Practically,
Thanks, man.
practically married. But yeah, no.
But
But,
it is-
I mean, it's tough.
It is fun though. Content days with you are fucking fun.
Yeah, and like, well,
Because
sometimes
you never
like,
know going into it what this is gonna go like, and I'm like, let's just
Right,
go with the
when you
flow.
said, when you said the chat GPT, you're like, do you do that for your content? I don't do that for my content.
No.
I just freestyle and figure it out while we go. But you're like, okay, so ask chat GPT, we're going to do this. And I go, that sounds stupid.
Sounds so dumb.
It's so
But that's
true.
going back to the freestyle. Like that's just
Yeah, yeah.
you. You just like think on your feet.
But
so
that's how
quick.
that works is like, everybody's like, well, how do you do a whole skate line and then still say all this crap and then like just do it fine?
you just do it. You just freaking do it. But like, we're not skaters. The first video we ever did together was with she was our assistant at the time, Corey.
Yeah.
And she was a little skater. And so we literally went to the skate park and we all 4 did a video together. And I was like,
It was so bad.
it was pretty fun.
You all got on a skateboard
We
though.
did.
We
So,
did all
like,
get on
that-
a skateboard.
I'm gonna tell you, like that boosted you from like here to like here in my mind. I was like, okay, I know they don't skate, but they at least got on there and they went down a ramp.
Yeah, we did.
She went down a
little
ramp
baby
on
ramp.
her hands and knees on the skateboard.
That was the last time, but I will freaking take that. But then so we're like, okay, Ben, we got to do content again because we miss you. And he doesn't do anything but skateboarding, so I guess like we'll go to the skate park. And it's like Sarah and I in like our high heels and I'm fucking.
The best one is when we go to Denver skate park and all the other skaters are like, "What the fuck is
like
that?"
they almost like, bro, disrespectful. You brought these
Yeah, yeah.
girls here.
But you know what? They look at me like after you all left, like they're like, "Yo, who are those blonde chicks?"
And we looked like a bunch of Ben's little groupies.
Yeah.
Because like we were like pretending like we're cutting
A pumpkin.
pumpkins and he like comes behind us and we're like, hey. We're just like a bunch of fucking
So
groupies.
dumb.
But it worked. But it freaking
But it did. But it
worked.
took your business off because I think the first year you crushed. The first like 2 or 3
Yeah.
years you crushed it.
With what?
Real estate.
Oh,
Like-
I last year was my best year.
Was it?
Was
yeah,
it?
I'm in the top 2% in the nation, but that doesn't sound as good. Top 1%. So like I don't ever say it.
That is
Well,
true. That is true.
like-
Wait, what? Last year was your best year?
Uh huh.
More than because I
Yeah.
feel like we did so many deals in like 2021.
Yeah, but I
and
sold more
2022.
houses.
Oh, you're more
versus
sell.
versus buying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Because
like,
you were a really heavy buyer at 1st. Really heavy.
I mean, I'll be real with you. I actually like the buy side more than I like the sell side, just because like I'm here for like
Content.
how much? Not even necessary. I mean, yeah, for sure, get some content out of it, but like. The skater to me is always like, what kind of deal can I get off of this house? Like what? Like you know this. Like
That's
every time that we have done
true.
a deal, there's
Yeah.
been concessions.
Every
you-
fucking time.
You do negotiate the hell out of
Every
it.
time.
Yeah,
every
you do.
time. Because you're kind of a bully. I don't want to say
I'm not a bully.
but
I'm
like,
just very stern, and I understand.
are.
I understand. So I read a lot of books about like human nature, from psychology to body language to everything like that. So like when I talk to people and when I negotiate, I kind of already ahead of where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So I already kind of know what the next steps are. So it's not like the whole like playing chess. It's just essentially just understanding how people operate.
Which
So
is true.
So what you're saying, it's like a game too. You're like,
100%.
how
Like,
hard
it's-
can
it's
I
just
push
like-
this? Yeah.
Okay, can I land this? Okay, because like I've gotten like $250,000 off a house before, and like people are like, what? That's like another house.
Yeah.
So like as far as like negotiating power goes, like you don't know until you send it.
Yeah.
You
This
know,
is true.
And I've gotten concessions on pretty much every house that I've ever bought. Even when people are going $100,000 over, I'm still getting concessions on houses. Don't get me wrong, like I've been there and I've gone $100,000 over, but still get other things on top of it. You know, like it's all about like what can we do to like make the client be put into the best position, because this is the biggest purchase that they're ever gonna make. So it's like, I think a lot of realtors are scared. They don't want to like lose anything in the deal. When honestly, if you're under contract, what are you losing? Like you're already there.
Right.
And the worst is going to say is no.
Yeah.
No, we're never going to do that. Okay, then we're going to walk away. Okay, well maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about the give and take as far as the deal goes, but it's ultimately just all about the client. And I'm here to make sure that they can get the best deals.
That is true.
It is
and I
true.
remember the first time I talked to you, you're like, hey man, like I got another lender locked up. I know they can get like good rates too. And I was like, oh, like you want to go, bro? But it worked. But that's what
how
you
that works.
do. You always get whatever you need for a client. That is so freaking true. You do it every single freaking time.
Yep.
Which is
And
so sick.
I talk to so many agents all the time, and they're like, yeah, I'm a master negotiator. No, you're not. You're not.
Sit down.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where it's like I understand where I want to go ultimately with the deal, and I just kind of like hold on to it. And like that's like what's in my mind. And if it doesn't work, then we get as close as we can to it. But I don't know if you guys work with any other agents that get as much concessions as I do, because like
You're pretty good at it.
well,
You
it's
are
like
good.
a lot of realtors don't want to do it because they want to get paid as much as they possibly can. Whereas for me, I'm like, dude, if I can get them $50,000, $100,000 off their house, they're going to come back to me later and they'll buy another house.
Yes.
Right.
Or sell or whatever.
And
Or
refer people
referrals,
to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I also want to chalk it up I'm not going to say the biggest part of your success, but Taylor, dude.
Oh, yeah. My wife
she's a
is
genius.
the shit.
Your wife.
She's
like
so hot.
She's fire, dude.
Yeah.
That one video that she
Yes.
did with Beyonce with the boots on.
I was like,
fire.
I took
and then
that video.
and then the next day she was like, I'm wearing Ben's Crocs because fuck those boots. I'm like, yes.
She all right. So we went to Beyonce, and the next day we went to Disney. And she's like, my feet hurt. She's like, I think I'm going to get Crocs. Mind you, I've had Crocs for like two years
You
now.
ain't ever
and
gonna see me have Crocs.
I pretty much just talk shit the whole time.
Yeah.
I go, oh, you're finally about that Croc life, huh? Just wait until Beyonce drops a Croc, then we're on it.
yeah.
Oh man, but doesn't she have Beyonce tatted and you have Jay tatted? Jay-Z?
Yeah,
She's
the
got a
J and Bay
ton.
combo. What's up?
She's got Kendrick, but she's like, you two are so uniquely you, and you're like the perfect little couple.
I wish we could just put him up here. But Taylor, she owns her own barbershop.
Yep.
Right? So she cuts hair, and so she's just steady talking to people all day, every day.
Yep.
And she gets a bunch of referrals for you too.
Yep.
Because she fucking hustles.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. It's all about the family. How can we make the fam bam do better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it all works out.
Love
And
it.
how did you guys meet again? I know it was like through a friend.
So I used to be in a hip hop group called Observatory. I had a DJ. His name is Jimmy Hands, and he passed away. And we went to his funeral party, and I met her there, and she tried to rap battle me.
Dude,
That's
meant
how I
to
met
be.
her. That's literally how I met her. Is that she tried to rap
Meant
battle me,
be.
and I was like, okay, whoever you are.
future wife.
Future wifey. Who won?
Come on.
Did she say that?
Yeah.
So she tried to rap battle you at somebody's celebration of life.
Something like that.
That's dope.
And from my understanding is like, so she was going there. So this is like, we always thank my homie that passed away. That was like my best friend. And I lost my best friend at 24. And I just lost another homie last week.
I
Shout
saw
out Lee.
that.
I just want to throw that out
saw
there.
that.
But yeah, when he passed and we went to this party that basically honored him, she was in a taxi and they hit a deer.
Wait.
So she pretty much was like not supposed to go and like held back, and then she got another taxi after it and ended up going there, and then that's where I met her. And she
that's
just tried to
funny.
rap in my face, and I was like, "What?"
That's fate. That's fate.
100%. But I always thank my homie Jimmy for bringing us together, because as one door closes, another one opens.
Yeah.
And I thank him for that all the time.
How long have you been married?
We've been married, let's see, 7 years, and we've been together for 14 years.
Dang,
you
why did it
guys.
take you 7 years?
5 years. We got
Wait,
married.
7
at
and 14, right? You said you've been married 7 years, together
I
14
asked her
years.
to marry me at 5 years. I think we ended up getting married at 7 years.
Got
Something
you.
like that. But, here's the thing. It's like, I got to make sure. You know what I'm saying?
This is
we
true.
went through 2 houses. And, I bought my first house and then we had a roommate. So it's kind of weird, And then when we bought our next house and it was just us, it was just pretty much like, okay,
Let's
this
see
is
the
life.
vibe first.
This is
Yeah,
it.
See the vibe.
Yeah.
But, I think a lot of people, when it comes down to marriage and everything like that, because you got to realize, like, my parents are divorced. Most people, what is it, 50% of people get divorced?
I feel like it's more than that
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure it's substantially more than that now that, COVID happened and things just got really hard. But it's one of those things where it's like, you got to really, like, make sure that you like this person. It's a lifetime.
But
So-
you guys are truly best friends, and you
100%.
have the same hobbies, the same, like, you guys both love traveling and skating and
Yeah.
shows and concerts. Like, you guys are
Yeah. We knew each other in a
goals,
past life, too.
fucking relationship
Yeah,
goals.
I bet you did. I bet you did. I want to rewind a little bit again. So you said, okay, growing up, you started, rapping again. How did that go? Because like I'm saying again, you were very good. He was very good. You guys should look into his shit. But when did that kind of take? Like, what was your high point? And then when you're like, all right, I gotta be an adult too and get a job.
A corporate job.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, kind of like how this went down is, skateboarder Benjamin, rapper Benjamin, pretty big deal. Started rapping, skateboarding. I was trying to become like a professional skateboarder. At 18, I got a forklift in my leg. So I have
did not know
have a
that.
hole in my leg, and I had to stop skateboarding for I think about 2 years. So I basically
How'd you do that? Was it
I was
skating?
driving a forklift, and the brakes went out, and I jumped out. My leg got caught in between a forklift and a wall. So I ended up almost losing my leg because it got super infected. They're like, "Hey, we can either amputate your leg, or you're gonna probably end up getting cancer in 10 years." And I'm like, "I'm gonna take the 10-year option, sir."
I did not
for the
know
record,
that.
Cancer from what?
I don't-
like metal in your leg. What?
I don't know. They
What's
were
the
giving me
correlation?
like some crazy like. They gave me some like crazy cream to like put on it, but
Yeah.
like it like counter, and it got so infected that this hole just like started eating up to my bone.
Oh shit.
So they're like, okay, either we can amputate it or you're gonna potentially get cancer in 10 years. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna take the potential cancer in 10 years.
Oh,
For the
my
record, I've gotten it tested almost 20 years later, and it's fine.
But you did get cancer though.
Yeah, you
I
got
got
cancer on the
Just
face.
I
not
got
from
cancer
that
in my
one.
face. Yeah. So I am the
isn't
human
funny.
sacrifice.
You really are, dude. Broken
All right.
back,
Yeah.
amputated leg.
So-
what the fuck?
So let's go back real quick. First cancer scare from the leg. Pretty much, I got a hole in my leg. I had to walk over to another building because I was the only person working.
Oh jeez.
So I had to walk over to another building, and this guy was like freaking out. I'm like, I haven't looked at it, and I know it's bad, and I need help. I need to get to the ER. So then he got me to the ER. So then I didn't really skate. So then I started rapping more. And this is like, that was 18. So like, I started heavily getting into rap, and then I moved to Colorado, and then I started doing hip hop with a little group called Observatory.
and wait, what brought you to Colorado from Minnesota?
I lived in South Dakota. So I'm from Minnesota, moved to South Dakota when I was like 11.
South Dakota's cool.
No, that's why I moved. South Dakota and I don't vibe, especially thinking about like the whole not drinking stuff.
Yeah.
They're like number 4 in binge drinking, and I'm like, I'm not there for that.
Right.
So I moved to Colorado. Started a hip hop group with some dudes, and we played with like Too Short, Wu-Tang, Wiz Khalifa, Warren G, like all these big names, but locally. Like we never like toured, we never did anything. So like we were playing all these cool shows, and it's like you get an inflated ego, all this stuff. Then my DJ died, and then when my DJ
oh,
died,
is this Jimmy Hands?
yeah. So
okay.
so when Jimmy died, it really just put everything on the back burner. And then I started another group, but just the group just never took off the way that it should have. So
Where did you used to play back in the day? What?
so like all over, like
What was
especially
the
here in
big one
Colorado.
though? What was that big one down in 5 Points where we used to?
Cervantes?
Oh, Cervantes.
Cervantes.
Yeah. I played at Cervantes a few times.
Yeah.
They're still going.
They're
still
still
going.
around.
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
still
know.
around. So you did that from 18 to 24. So 6 years
Yeah.
you were in this group, and then your DJ passes away. Now, who else was in the group? Like, why don't you keep that group together and get a different DJ? Just not.
We just didn't vibe after a while. You know, people grow apart.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with hip hop at early ages, there's a lot of ego involved. So if your egos clash and your everyday things clash, it doesn't really work out. And then you also got to realize that I think at about 27, I basically, how do I say this? I used to be a shithead.
Yeah.
And at 27, I was
all
like,
were.
I'm going to take my life back. I'm going to start moving in a positive direction. And
So
that's,
you were drinking heavily at that time too?
I mean, everything.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah,
No,
I partied
we-
like a rock star. You guys want to party like a rock star? I was a rock star. Come on.
Yeah.
So like whenever people talk about it now and they're like, oh, you're kind of lame, like you don't go party and like all this stuff, I stay away. And it's like, dude, I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done it for years. So I'd rather be on the healthy tip. But at 27, I kind of took my life back together and like kind of reevaluated all my friends and just like kind of took myself away from everything. And I moved away from downtown.
And you were with Taylor at this time.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
like, I think that's right around when I started dating her in that ballpark.
Okay. Okay.
But it got to a point where I was just like, okay, I need to take my life back. I need to like start sobering up. I need to start doing all this stuff for self-improvement. And then I got a corporate job. And then I'll tell you this, creativity goes to die in corporate land.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
true.
used to work in a cubicle for like 8 hours a day. And
But you crushed it though.
I crushed it at sales, and that's how I got good at sales.
Yeah.
And that's why whenever, I negotiate or do anything for my clients, everybody's like,
Yeah.
damn, how'd you give me this deal? It's because I know how to talk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like that's definitely one skill that like has built me to where I am.
Overcoming objections.
100%.
101.
Yeah,
Shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
How many no's until you get to a yes?
Dude. Yes. Were you at least, so you said you were at Comcast? Or
Yeah, I was at
Xfinity, or-
Comcast. Yeah,
Were you on inbound when sales come into you, or
I've
were
done
you
both.
on outbound?
I've even done door-to-door sales. So
Yeah.
so this is where. All right, let's go to cancer number 2.
Okay, yes, please.
All right, so I had skin cancer in my face. So I got a big old hole in my face, and I was doing door-to-door sales. And I can just go ahead and tell you, it is very awkward to have a hole in your face, being like, "Hi, how are things?"
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, wolf.
Door
Yeah.
shut. Door shut.
Yeah. So
Or somebody feels bad for you.
yeah, that never happened. They were all off put because it was pretty gnarly looking.
Yeah.
But so you do that. That kind of I don't know how you say it, humbled me. So
I could see it.
you want to come back through objections, just walking in random doors and be like, "Hey, do you guys want some Comcast service? Oh, you already have it. Oh,
Yeah.
tight. Okay, it turns out everybody has it. So that was a
Facts.
really hard job. It got to a point where I just basically said I can't do this anymore. I went to like a call center and started doing like inbound, outbound calls.
Which is better.
It to a certain extent. I am a person that has to be moving all the time, and like especially with like skateboarding and all that stuff, it's like you always got to like be moving. Being tied to a cubicle for 8 hours a day
Miserable.
for almost a decade, very hard.
A decade.
Yeah. So like I think I worked there for like 7.5 years. So like that's a long time of sitting in the same place and watching your life go by. I stopped rapping. I barely skateboarded. I started getting like my health back, and I started slowly getting back into skateboarding, and it got to a point where one of the dudes that was mentoring me, he shot himself, he killed himself. So I was like, okay.
As a skateboarder, like a skateboard mentor?
No,
or?
mentor at Comcast when I was doing the door-to-door sales.
Okay.
He ended up killing himself, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna take a leave of absence. I went and saw a therapist because they're like, you have to see a therapist. I saw one therapist that was like, you keep referring to yourself as a kid. You know you're not a kid. And I'm like, I don't need that type of energy in my life. so I saw a different therapist, and she's like, man, Ben, you seem so creative. What do you do that's creative? And I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
So then
Which is
she's
not
like,
true.
well, I didn't at that
At
point.
that point.
Yeah, but you're
Because,
the
like-
most creative person.
Yeah, but here's how that kind of came to be. So she's like, okay, well, I want you to figure out how to be creative. And I was like, well, I have my camera. I just haven't used it for a few years. She's like, okay, I want you to use it. So then I started, using my camera and started taking a picture every day and posting it. I have an Instagram where I had that, and I did it for 3.5 years.
A picture of what? Just anything?
Just anything.
Okay.
So
Anything.
that's
Okay.
why I'm such a baller photographer
Okay.
now, because
Yeah.
it's just consistency of doing it. Because I did it for 3.5 years of taking pictures.
Every single day.
Yeah. So when I started doing that, then I started making the transition into making content, making videos, and I love making videos, and I've been making videos ever since I was like 15, just skateboarding. I used to be the guy with the camera this big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like
The
my dad.
VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I used to take like videography classes, and like I'd be editing like with videotape, and like using his old channels, and now it's like got CapCut.
Yeah.
All easy peasy. So like everybody's like, you make so much content. I'm like, dude, it takes me 2 seconds to make it.
Yeah.
I just be chilling on the couch, like
Yeah.
bam, bam.
Right.
It's
Make
true
a
though.
video.
We'll go shoot a video with you, and like on the drive home, you're like, here you go.
You're like,
Yeah,
you got
we're
4
like,
pieces of content.
What? Yeah, and then he poses like this day, this day, this day, this day, sometimes 2 a day, and I'm like, man, we space ours out. I'm like, oh, we're out of content, dude. But
Yeah.
You come through with it every day. Okay, so then you started taking pictures every day, getting your creativity back. Then what?
Now we're here.
But then how?
I'm the
okay,
realest
but-
realtor this side of reality.
but
What do you want?
Let's back it up though.
Yes.
So you started to get creative again. Were you ever like, how do I monetize off this? Do I be somebody's digital marketer? Do I
So
try?
here's the thing: is like, I hate to say this, and I really need to change my paradigm, my mindset for this. I don't care about money.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have figured that out.
Yeah.
Like I could like just chill, like, and that's the skater in me. Like
Right.
I need to
So
get better with
you're
that.
always like,
But
it
you
comes
got-
and goes. It
Yeah,
comes
You
and
got
goes.
bills
Yeah.
to pay,
Yeah,
and you have
yeah.
a wife.
I mean, I get that. Like, don't get me wrong. It'll come back, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I don't focus on trying to make money from videos. I don't focus on trying to capitalize on everything. I don't monetize my videos. I don't do all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna get sales from selling houses and all that.
But why'd you get into real estate? Why were you like, okay, real estate's the route I'm going to take?
I got into real estate because I bought 2 houses and sold them,
Yeah.
and my realtors weren't necessarily the greatest, and not necessarily even with communications, but like they didn't negotiate. They didn't do like anything that I necessarily wanted them to do.
Just kind
But
of
you didn't know what you
there.
didn't know at that time either. You probably learned throughout the process of buying 2
Yeah.
houses.
So I tell a lot of realtors or agents that are starting or want to get into it, I go, have you ever bought a house? Do you understand how much of a pain in the ass it is? Because like it's not even just like
yeah.
doing the job. It's like if you don't have a context of how hard emotionally it is, because there's such an emotional toll to your biggest purchase, because money does have such a big hold on people.
It does.
And I think it's one of those things where it's like I saw what they did, and again, I was in business sales for so long, talking to business owners at multi-million-dollar companies, that I'm just talking to them like a normal person, and I'm like, why can't I do this for myself? My wife told me to be a realtor 3 years prior. It took me 3 years to even start taking the test,
Right.
because I'm like, I can't do that. The skater in me is like, that ain't me.
People won't take you seriously or
Yeah,
what? Like,
it's
yeah.
like, obviously you have self-doubt and like all that stuff that creeps in, and it takes, however long or whatever pivotal moment to be like, okay, I need to make the change.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where I got the skin cancer, and my dad died of lung cancer, like probably within like 6 months of that. So like,
Oof.
so I had that, and then the other dude killed himself, and I'm like, I have to do something. So I took that LOA, that time away to get my real estate license, start getting my mental back in order. And I'm telling you, like, I used to be like office space where every day was the worst. I walk into that office and be like, I don't belong here. I don't
I've
want to
been
be
there
here.
before.
I don't, this is not me. I am not a corporate guy.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have figured
It
this
takes
out.
it out of you every day. Like a
I'm
piece of
not-
your soul.
I'm not a business casual guy.
No. But you did get hit by a car in a business suit skateboarding downtown.
Yeah. I've been hit by a car in a suit. Mercedes Benz with the windows up and the tent goes up. But if you see me on a normal day, and I'm one of the people that are probably breaking the image of realtors. Like,
You
I got
are,
a bunch of
For sure.
tattoos.
Oh, for sure.
I wear shorts, and people don't think I'm very professional just because I don't dress a certain way, when in reality, the guy who dresses in a suit, I just made him look very small in a deal. And that's just kind of just how it is. And I've always been the unassuming guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't look like I'm going to be able to do anything, and all of a sudden,
He comes out of nowhere.
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah. And you're real estates.
Yeah.
Shit ton
Big
of
deal.
followers. People love you. You get a shit ton of business off of that. We got
I'm
Taylor.
proud of you
You're
for
just
that, though. You are breaking the barriers of a lot of
yeah.
what the typical most people think of the real estate agent. Was there a certain point in your career you're like, okay, fuck yeah, I got this, like,
I still don't know if I got it. Nah, I'm just kidding.
or was it when you closed your first deal, like, all right, I think
So
this is
so
it.
let's peep this out. My first deal was my own house.
Okay.
Because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I might as well just sell a house and buy a house and figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
for
it was,
sure.
and that was back in like the 2-point-something interest rates.
And you guys got a sick house.
Yeah, I got a dope house.
You do have
Yeah.
a dope
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But you know what? I made it dope. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like you can have whatever house, and it's like it's however you customize, you know,
Right.
personalize.
Right.
You know, I go to some people's houses after I sell them after like a year, and I'm like, come on, man, you got to add some flavor into this bad boy.
I mean, it's not like you have a skate ramp in your backyard or anything.
yeah, you gotta-
Just me being the lender, how did you qualify for that house? Because you just got into real estate. You didn't have any, or was it off?
I was in business sales.
Yeah, he was still at Comcast.
you're still at
I was still
Comcast.
making a six-figure
Got it.
job.
I thought
had
you
to
already quit.
transition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I sat
is
in a
smart,
cubicle
though.
for all day, I hated my life, but I traded my life for a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did. So my last corporate sales job was at this. I'm not gonna say where it was, but I was a recruiter. I was a technical recruiter. So, and I was in telecom sales too. I was at Ring Central. I loved it there, but I was a recruiter, and every day I went in, I literally thought I was dying. Like I know,
the worst.
literally, like I was sad.
Some people are
I
all
was-
about it.
I was miserable. And we went out one time, and she's happy because she was a lender before me. And I'm like, what the fuck do you do? And she's like, go get licensed. So long story short, I went and got licensed, but I failed the test the first time. And for lenders, you have to wait 30 days until you could take the test again. And those 30 days, I think I literally sobbed to you every day on the phone because I had to go into that corporate sales job. And
It hurts.
it
does.
fucking killed me. Like
Yeah.
and I was miserable. But now I'm literally, the market's what it is now, but I'm so freaking happy. And when I look
Same.
back at those days, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like
it's,
ouch, what rough.
It's bad.
Because we are in a position where, I mean, for the most part, right, we can make however much money we want to make. We're not capped on it. You can work from wherever, but we also have the freedom to do the things that we still want to do. If you want to go out and skateboard
Right.
in the morning, you're not
Do it.
tied to an 8 to 5. You're
Right.
not tied to a desk. Like it is a.
If we want to go golf
different.
and justify it as taking out an agent golfing, fuck you. We're gonna do it.
I'm
you
pretty
know?
sure that's where most people are making their money anyways, on the golf course.
It's
Yeah.
so damn
Yeah.
true. It's so damn true. So we're getting low on time. What's next for you? What do you see next for you? Do you not plan? Do you just go, or do you plan?
I mean, as far as everything goes, what's next for me? I would probably say just more sales, more content creation. Like you asked me, like, is there an event? Is there something that I want to promote while I'm on here? Like, I have a clothing company that I make with my wife. It's called Originated. Check it out, originatedco.com.
How is that doing, by the way?
It's good. I
Yeah,
sell
you
stuff
guys have dope
countrywide.
shit there.
We have so many cool items that come out that are gonna keep coming out. But beyond that, like, I'm just always doing something new. Like, I don't want to limit myself and be like, I'm gonna have this event. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna show everybody, and just be like, here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah,
This is what it is.
Because like once you start like really talking about your goals and ambitions, it really just depletes it. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of just keep everything to myself, and essentially, once I do it, I put it out there. Because otherwise, if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take this skateboard, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then like I'll get to wherever I was gonna try to do it, and I'll be like, man, I don't think I can do this. And I just told everybody that I was gonna jump over a car or something.
But you do it every time. For Originated Collective, does a lot of those sales come from your social media, and then people
yeah,
just
that's
tell
all-
other
that's all-
people and tell
yeah.
other people?
Yeah, that's it.
That's you guys. You're so dope. Okay, so question:
Huh?
Are you gonna freestyle for us?
What am I freestyling about?
Let's see. What do we want him to freestyle about?
Your first podcast.
My first podcast.
Yeah, or anything, or real estate, or
Okay.
your wife.
See, that's why I
You-
can't
you
freestyle,
ain't got-
'cause
you
I
ain't got
hate
no
being-
beats?
I hate being put on the spot. No.
Oh, wait.
Nope, no
I
beats.
can ask
I'm just
ChatGPT
kidding.
for some
Don't
beats.
even worry about it. We don't need no beat.
We don't?
I don't even have to rhyme fast because I'm on my first damn a podcast all the way from the ground up. Realize whatever I've done, well, it just isn't enough because I'm gonna keep going and flowing, and everybody knows that I hit the bank. But realize S&S, well, that's really where you want to thank because that's where you're gonna get all of your money to buy your home. But this is all about freestyling, so I can't condone like Mr. Cardone, like he's gonna be flipping another apartment. I'm just kidding. I'm just the hardest, the realist, the Mr. MC. I'm just a guy that you want to say, damn, this real estate, that's just me.
That's so fucking dope. So
I love
fucking
it.
dope.
I love
I
it.
think that's where we fucking ended up,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
So
But
we're finding you, what? Real Estates, Instagram. How
Just
do
at
people
me,
find
Real
you?
Estates. Find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, Real Estates.
And
Pretty
as
easy.
always,
And as always, slide into
into
my
those
DMs. What's up?
thank you so much for listening. This is From the Ground Up. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and check back next Monday for the next episode.